Here we go. Hello,
Hey.
everybody, and welcome back to the Manor House podcast. This podcast where we talk to different songwriters from across the world and hear about their songs and their process. Today, we have a very special guest. I believe this is our first guest outside of the UK.
Yeah.
It is. So I'm quite excited. Today we have Kristen Sangary. I really hope I've pronounced your last name right.
You did,
Um,
yes.
so funny story.
Yeah. So we were going to tell you the funny story, but we thought, let's tell you here. So I knew you as Christian Hicks.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah. So there's a song that you have called Heavenly, My Days. One of my favorite songs in the entire world. Like every single year, it's on repeat. Top
Thank
notch
you.
song. Everyone go listen to it.
Yeah.
And then, so we were dating because that song came out in 2019, I think.
Yes.
And that's when we got together.
Yeah.
And then
Really?
Yeah.
And then I was listening to I Will Rise
by
Sangary
No
Brothers.
way. That's
Yeah.
amazing.
I'm like, I love that song. But we just they were on just two separate tracks and just we didn't make the connection
At
until
all.
like recently.
And then we were like, oh wait, they actually sang this song together. Heavenly is like both of you guys. So
Yeah.
we were like, that's so cool. What a collab. And then we were like, oh, we should reach out to her and ask her to be on the podcast. And then that's when we were like, wait a second.
We're like, wait, that name has changed. What's happening?
That's
The
crazy,
name
guys.
change. And then we're like, wait, they're married? And now we're married. I was like, what?
It's crazy because I didn't even know Simon when he put out I Will Rise. So it's
Oh,
like
wow.
you guys were like listening to us at different times and somehow we got
OG
married.
fans.
Isn't that crazy? Like you listened to it and maybe that God just heard that. Like they're listening to both the songs. Let's just put them together. How funny
Honestly.
is that? Yeah,
It's
Heavenly, that was such a fun song because we wrote it together, my husband and I, and then his brother. And we spent like a whole summer, like we were actually traveling with a choir group across the US. And like we would be like at some Georgia youth camp and Simon would be like tracking guitars. And then we'd be like recording vocals like in this other place. So like we literally made that in a van with like 15 other kids.
That is so
And we're just
dope.
traveling around the US. Like we had this idea and then we finished it. But yeah, he was like producing it like while we were driving through like all these states in the US. And so by the time we released it, we had literally no idea. I think it has like over 1 million streams or something like that, but we didn't know.
Yeah.
We had no idea. We were just like it's probably I don't want to say this in a bad way, but it's probably like the lowest quality as far as like being in a studio and like we've done a lot of other projects that are very like professionally recorded. This we were like, okay, let's track it here. Let's track this here. Like in that sense. So for that to be the one to reach you guys and like reach all these people, we were like kind of accidental because we were just having fun and we just had this idea of like, what would it sound like when we got to heaven? You know, it would feel like this to us, you know? So it's always so funny to us and it was such a blessing. I'm just so grateful. So that is so cool. I love that. That makes me so happy, guys. Thank you for sharing that with me.
Honestly, God did the most with that song. But before we get into it, we should let you introduce yourself. So please
Right.
let us know who you are, what you do.
Of course, right. My name is Kristen Sangary, and yes, I was formerly Kristen Hicks before I got married to my love of my life, Simon. And together we live in Orlando, Florida. He's originally from Miami, and I'm originally from Riverside, California. It's like a little bit outside of Los Angeles, 2,000 miles apart. Totally didn't make sense. Yeah. But Simon had invited me to he had known about my music and followed me on social media. And then he and his brother had invited me to sing with them at a concert in Indianapolis that we knew we were both going to be at this youth conference there. And they were invited to sing at a concert. So he reached out to me and said, hey, I know we've never met before, but I'd love if you could, you know, sing with our set and sing one of your songs. And I was like, wow, I'm so like nervous or whatever. But the whole time, obviously, he had a plan. He had a plan to asked me out and everything. So then we started dating a few months after that. It was just all, you know, because other than that, it was just 2,000 miles apart. Like, that makes no sense. That seems like a crazy situation. But we ended up going to Bible college together in Northern California. So we went there and graduated in 2021. We got married in 2021, is a big year. And then we moved to Orlando in 2022, where we serve at our church Bible Center of Orlando. We serve as the worship leader and also the youth pastor here. And we moved here 4 years ago, just when the church launched. So it was just in a community center, just starting out. And now we have, an incredible church that's really grown, and an amazing pastor, Pastor Victor Jackson. He's just been incredible. So we're just so grateful. And other than that, we're just working on music. I also work as a nanny. So I'm like doing a lot of things, but music is definitely our like main thing that we're trying to pursue. And so that's just a little bit about me. I'm trying to think of anything else, but I think I covered it. So yeah.
No, that sounds really cool. I really wanted to know about the journey from I guess from when you were born, because we were watching the music video, and there's videos of you as a kid playing on the piano. So what was your musical journey like all the way up to now, I guess?
Yeah, that video, it's so funny because my parents, the last few years have been pulling out, they've been digitizing our childhood videos, but there wasn't
That's
any of
cute.
me. There wasn't any of me. There's five of us kids, so 4 and 5 were just like struggling out here. But they kept saying like 1999, that was the year of like floppy disks and stuff. I don't really
Yeah.
Yeah.
know that format, so they just can't find any footage of me as a baby. But last year they surprised me like on Christmas, and they saw this one VHS, one of them, of me. So they played it, and I was kinda getting emotional because, like, I don't know if you have videos like this, but, like, my older sisters that probably had, like, the video camera where they just, like, placed in the middle of the room, there's probably,
Mm.
like, 3 hours of footage of my sisters when their baby's just, like, laying on the ground doing nothing. Like,
And
you
nothing
know how
of
your
you.
parents would, like, set up the camera and then just, like, leave the room and just, like,
Yeah.
have it
Yeah.
videotaping your life? So I didn't have any of that. Unfortunately, when I get older, like, my brother and I were going on, like, the laptop and, like, making embarrassing videos, and that's all I really have as a kid. But, yeah, there's this one video of me, and in the video, I go and I play the piano, and I'm, like, getting so emotional. That piano has been in our life forever. My mom got that when she was like 11 years old, and it's just been in our house for all of our lives. All my sisters learned how to play the piano there. My mom taught us how to write, how to sing, how to play. And it's just crazy because all these years later, I'm 19 years old, and that's the piano that I sit down to write this song on. And so it was just super special. But we were raised in church. My parents just instilled like a love for truth, a love for the Lord. And we were always just taught to just pursue our dreams, like whatever we wanted to do, whatever God was like calling us to do. Like they've always been so encouraging and so supportive from a very young age. And I'm just so grateful for that because all of my sisters, like, and my brother as well. Like we all are involved in our churches, and everybody sings. Like when we all get together, like we're all singing and we're all like leading worship together. Everybody, plays something or, does something artistically. So I just am so grateful for my parents. They've just
Mm.
been such an encouragement to me. Even now, like it's just the first person I text if I have a new song idea or something is usually like my dad or my mom. I just send it to
Oh,
them
that's
because
really
I
nice.
know because you know how, like and I don't mean it as a way and they're honest with me too, so it's not like, "Oh, you're amazing," like, 24/7, you know? Because sometimes it's like, and I'm like, "Man," like so I just feel the most comfortable sharing with them. Obviously, Simon as well, like, if we're working on something, but I know there's, like, no criticism, there's nothing internally that could give me, like, a wrong piece of advice or something, when you're talking with friends or other people. It's
Yeah.
nothing against anybody. It's just like you have to have someone in your life that you can trust to like really share like these God dreams and visions with. And so yeah, I'm super grateful. But that's a little bit of my upbringing. Like we're all just from a little small town and still living for God, and we're just happy to do that for the Lord. It's like a huge blessing.
Praise
Yeah.
God.
That's really cool. Like the family. It must be like a fun like family Christmas or whenever you guys get together. That must be really, really really nice to just have
Yeah.
everyone still so involved.
Yeah, it's crazy because all my sisters and my brother, they're all having kids now. So when we go home, I have one niece and the rest are nephews, and they're all under 6 years
Wow.
old. All of them under 6. It's so
Yeah.
fun.
It's a
We
whole
have a
lot.
blast.
Sounds like
So
my dad's dream.
Yeah.
Natalie's dad has been like, oh, I've been waiting to have a band,
Family band.
family band and all of that.
Just travel and
Right.
sing.
Yeah.
I know. I feel like that's every like parent's dream. And I used to think it was
Especially
so
Christian.
like I would get embarrassed, but now I look at the Gaither family, or I look at, or what is it, these families? I'm trying to think of who are
Yeah.
these families. I'm trying to think who's
Cain.
another
Hey.
family. Cain. Okay, Cain is cool. Cain changed my
Yeah.
mind. I love Cain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We get the
They're all
matching
cool.
outfits, we're sorted.
Yeah.
I'm getting to the age now where I'm like, you know what? We should make a video for Christmas. Like we should sing something. Like why was I embarrassed of that before? I don't know why.
Right?
I was young, but I think it's
Yeah.
every parent's dream. Yeah,
As long as we
definitely.
make sure it's not on a floppy disk or anything like that,
Then
so
we're
that we
I
fine.
can keep
know,
it.
right? Goodness. I need to
Yeah.
find those. I'm gonna have so much fun whenever I figure out how to digitize that.
So the song we're talking about.
We're talking about Written in the Stars. So we want to learn, yeah, what was the process behind writing this song? So like what was happening in your life around that time as well?
Yes. Written in the Stars, that like you mentioned before, we got to record in Nashville. That was my first time being able to do that. The process, I like to say, is feels like my life in like a theme song because it took about 8 years to get it to where it is now. And most of my other stuff, like it doesn't take that long. It's like an immediate download where I'm like writing the song. But for some reason, this song has taken me years to write. At the time, I had just, you know, I was young, I was 18. I had just had an opportunity, fall into my lap where I was going to be signed by a record label. And I was really, just feeling a green light from the Lord. And everyone around me was like, yes, do it. And I was really excited. And there was a moment where God spoke to me extremely clear, like so clear that I was like, are you serious? Like, what? Like, what are you talking about? It was so clear. He used someone to speak it to me that had no idea what I was going through. I just kind of kept it just with my family and, Simon and like one mentor. I was at Bible college, so I wasn't like trying to tell everybody, with those things, like you want to really just keep it,
Yeah.
like, you want to guard it before you just start telling people. And I wasn't going to be like, hey, everyone, like I am signed. Like I wasn't going to do that. So yeah, that was like a dream come true for me to have that happen. It was like, okay, cool. I'm 18. The future's looking bright. This is like what anyone would hope for or dream for as an artist, like a Christian artist. So when God spoke that to me, like, no, do not do it. It was the week I was supposed to sign, like 2 days before I was supposed to have the forms in the mail. 2 days. It's like that week. So imagine the conversations and even like the demos being recorded and like the amount of work going into this just to even get to this point and like the people involved behind the scenes. So I was like, are you serious? And I remember my husband, well, we were dating at the time, but he told me like, hey, maybe this is like your Abraham and Isaac moment, that God is asking you to surrender this, but he's going to give it back to you. And I was like, okay. And then I had a mentor tell me this same exact thing. And I was just like, when God speaks
It's
something to
not
you
a
and you're like,
coincidence. Yeah.
you don't really want to do it, but like it's so clear that you just can't not do it. You have to do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I was like, I do not understand why. Like, why did I get to this point? Like, why? Why did you let me get to this point? I don't know. I remember even there was like an altar call for that service where that was spoken over me. And I like went down there and like this pitiful, I was just like, man, are you serious? People are like, like going for it. And I'm just like, for real? Like, I'm getting punked by the Lord.
Yeah.
Okay, so that kind of launched the question of like what the song is asking the whole time and it's kind of saying. It took me a while to be able to write that. I actually got really sick. I'm trying to remember. I had so many things going on. I think that was the year I had mono. I had to go home for like a month or two. It was terrible.
Mm.
I just after that happened, I got sick. I went home. I'd taken a break from school. I just felt like God just made me just chill out. Just let's rest. Let's just all you have is me. Like this is not your identity. This is not
Mm.
all that you are to me. I just feel like I was so young and I can see like looking back how that must have sounded coming from like an 18-year-old who's just, just, I was just trying to do the right thing. I was just trying to be obedient to the Lord. And I still like I may not have all the pieces to that puzzle, but I
Mm.
do know that like in my obedience and in that moment of surrender, like even though I went through this time of sickness where God really just like met me and just taught me how to rest and just like, when you're sick and I feel like sometimes I have like profound like moments or thoughts while I'm sick because it's like this necessity for the Lord that like you're just going through your day, but when you're sick, you're like, okay, I can't do anything.
Yeah.
Can't, and then that psalm comes on or you read that scripture and it's like, okay, this is really meeting me right now. And so I was kind
Mm.
of in a situation like that where I was like, okay, God, like I gave you everything I had, everything I knew about music, everything that I was working towards in a sense, like it doesn't matter to me. I just want you. Like Lord, all I want is what you want for my life. So whatever that looks like, I'm willing and I surrender like my idea of what my life looks like. I don't want it if it's not what you have for me. That was like a really tough thing to pray. I think for anybody it is, but at 18 I just was like, okay, I'm just going to focus on being in school. I'm in Bible college. Every day was like an incredible experience, just really like going deep in the presence of God and just I just did a lot of like deep work, I feel like, as a foundation for my life there. And I needed that. I didn't know how much I needed that to kind of like you need that foundation, right? And your relationship with God
Yeah.
to kind
Mm.
of lead you. Like you need that to hold you and to carry you and to keep you grounded and to keep you steady. So yeah, I remember finally sitting at the piano and, those thoughts kind of coming to mind like, okay, God, like this is all I have. I just have you. And yeah, that
Mm.
all I had was the verse at the time. Like I know my dreams are not forgotten and every star I've wished upon you hold on to. And although I can't see the promise, you've already watched me do it. And in time, I'll find out that your ways are much higher than mine. So I'm not going to compromise. And I just had that.
Mm.
I didn't even have like the chorus or anything. It was just that verse and just this idea that like you go before me and like my end, my beginning from the ending, like it all. Like I'm really interested in that. Like whenever there's a sermon or like just hearing about like God not being bound by time. And so I just love that idea, that concept that like he knows the beginning from the end. He knows every detail of your life. And
Mm.
so
Yeah.
that was all I had. I just had that verse. And I'm trying to remember like the specific moment where like the rest of the song came into play, but like it was always kind of like a few months would go by and I would go through something and then it was like, okay, I unlocked chorus. And then
Yeah.
I'd go through something else, another season, I'd just like sit back at the piano again, I unlock, the bridge. And
New
so
achievements unlocked.
right. It's like God's like, all right, here you go. And it is funny because I say that, but it actually is like that for me because it's not like I was writing about it for months trying to
Mm.
find the next line. It was like literally I would sit down and then it would just all come, but it would be months
Yeah.
later. If
Wow.
that makes sense. That's
Yeah.
not always my writing process, like at all. With other stuff, or like, I don't know. But for this specifically, this was just yeah, it was a journey. It was like my life's journey in that song.
Yeah.
Mm.
And so by the end, with the bridge, it's just going, our world, like you go online and everyone's like, we need to manifest this. We need to like all this weird stuff that people are doing. Like I'm a Scorpio, I'm a this, and this is what's going to happen for me. And like, everyone is looking to, the things of the world to tell them like what their future holds. And like, they're going to see, fortune tellers as a joke or like as for real. I don't know. Like these are things that are just, we hear about and they're so common. But the idea when I write the bridge is like, I don't believe in those things. I believe in the word of God and the promises that he has made over my life. And I know that everything's going to be okay, that he has already written it. It's already done. And I just have to trust him and hold on and believe that that promise will come to pass. And I saw something the other day, I'm going to like maybe butcher what it said, but it was saying like, I am learning to become okay with the version of my life that God had intended for me versus the one that I thought was what I wanted. Because
Mm.
when you get to a certain point in your life, like maybe you guys can relate, like you look back to things you wanted when you were like 18, 19, you're like, oh my gosh, thank God he didn't let that happen. Like, thank God that didn't happen for me. Thank God he knows better for my life. And I can say that is where I'm at now is it's so much better than what I thought was what I wanted, if that makes
Yeah.
sense.
No,
Yeah.
no, that makes sense, and that resonates a lot for us as well. I mean, just the situation where we're in now with this space, even moving here, the house, everything, it came off like things that we could never have planned ourselves.
Mm.
Like if you had asked me, oh, you need to buy a house and build a studio in it, the way I would have done it and the way God did it, two very, very different ways. But I'm so grateful for the way that God has done it because yeah, it just made so much more sense.
Yeah. God was like, get a job, lose
Yeah.
the job. Okay.
Yeah,
Like, what do I do?
Yeah,
Literally.
we went through a roller coaster of stuff of just like,
So funny.
I was like, so God, you want us to use all the money we have to do this thing, but we don't know when the next
Like you don't
paycheck is
even,
coming.
yeah, like, is there even a job after this?
Yeah.
Like,
And he's like, yeah. And I'm like,
yeah.
"Oh, okay, yeah, sure.
And everyone was saying to us, like, okay, once you've made the studio, you'll make the money back because people will come and like pay for sessions and stuff.
Yeah,
And that's what we had planned. But then, like, God was speaking too loud and
yeah.
was like, nah,
Should be
guys,
free.
this is a free studio for Christians to just come and record.
Yeah,
Because so many of us, like, we have songs or even just like covers of hymns or whatever it may be. Like, there's so many secular artists out there getting their message out. Like, what about Christians? There's so many of us who love to sing, but I think the financial barrier is a thing that kind of blocks
stops a lot of people.
from
Yeah,
recording. So
Wow.
God was like, yeah, free studio, come let people come and record. Like,
Wow.
so yeah,
yeah,
and I think we can relate to the Abraham and Isaac story. And I can't lie, I did not know that. But when I was listening to your song,
yeah.
Written in the Stars, that story came to my mind and how,
Really?
yeah, how God was telling Abraham, like, you'll have descendants as numerous as the stars. And it was like, but he had no kids. So it's kind of like, well, don't know where it's coming from. And just like, yeah, the song just reminded me of that.
That's
Hey,
so,
God,
I don't know why I've never put that connection. So thank you. That's amazing. Yeah.
I genuinely was, I thought you were going to say like, yeah, that's why, where it came from. But no, fair.
I told you guys, sometimes I'm just like, just the vessel and then I figure out what it means later. Honestly, I feel like that. Like I'm just writing, but
Yeah,
that is
months
so
later,
good.
we're finding
Yeah.
things out.
Yeah, I'm like, oh, that's what you meant. That's what you
Makes
meant.
sense.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing. I love what you guys are doing. I want to come visit. We have to come, me and Simon, we have to come see your
Please,
Yeah,
studio
please
and
do.
see your
please do.
space.
We'll just be singing you guys' songs back to
Yeah.
you.
Yeah. I wanted to ask about when you've now finished the song. So it's like your final the song is done. You've played it for your parents and for Simon. What was then that process of like, okay, I have the song, but I now want to record it because I think this is a bit different from some of your other stuff because I like to kind of dive deep into credits and see who was involved. And looks like quite a big project where you have loads of people involved. What was that process like?
This is definitely the credits list is like scroll, scroll, scroll.
Yeah.
Usually the credits list is like me, Simon again, like production. Yeah, this was such a surreal, like when I say dream come true, the way that we even were able to record with the orchestra, by the way, like makes no sense when I explain it to you. My dad is a contractor. He builds homes in Los Angeles. Okay. And
Yeah.
his client, his name is Jordan Cox. They were building a house for them. They just became buddies. And somehow they ended up at Thanksgiving with us, with their kids. We're playing board games. So, like,
That's
they
so
went from
random.
client to friends. This guy, Jordan, he is an orchestrator, a composer, an arranger. Grammy award winning. He works with like Alicia Keys and Ariana Grande, and like he does scores for film, like he did Mandalorian, and he does a bunch of rides for Disney. But he's just like this regular guy, like, he's just a believer, this is his job.
Mm.
So like my dad, being the dad that he is showing Jordan my music, and Jordan listens to Written
Gotta
in the
love that.
Stars. Yeah, I know. I know. But in this case, it really helped me out. So I'm like, thank you, Dad.
Yeah. Yeah.
So this isn't like oh, my dad's hyping me up. Like Jordan heard the song and said, we need to record with a live orchestra for that song. And I'm just like, okay. He's like, I'm going to connect you with a friend of mine. Yeah, it's crazy. It's like, I'm going to connect you with a friend of mine. Her name is Aiden Davis. And she also, composes, arranges, produces. They kind of work together. They both went to school together. And they both work in film. Like, if I told you the films, they probably wouldn't even, they're not even like always saying the stuff that they're working on. They're very humble, very, like, they're just led by God. Every time we talk, it's like super encouraging. And I'm just so grateful for their friendship. So we went on this journey together of trying to figure out how to make this happen. And Aiden has become now like a close friend and a mentor, just kind of helping me through this whole process and like praying over me before we even start recording. Like that is something that I'm so grateful for. And it all came from the connection of my dad building someone's house. That's it.
Yeah.
So they basically, like all their connections, all the people they work with, like they were able to make this happen for me. And my parents flew out, were there. My pastor came and we recorded with a 12-string orchestra. And I feel like
Wow.
hopefully I'm saying all these terms right because I'm pretty new to this world. We are used to programming strings on like our MIDI keyboard,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Simon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he does
Yeah, same.
amazing. He's amazing. But yeah, I think having the live strings, it captures
Hits
it
different.
very well in the song. Being there
Mm.
in person, like it was insane. It was amazing. It was beautiful to have them like arrange this music, all these notes, all these things that you hear going on for a song that I wrote. Like just seeing my name like written in the stars on this giant piece of sheet music. We had everyone sign it at the end, so I need to frame it.
That's
Oh, I love that.
It's like God knew like the humble beginnings of the song. Like, okay, let's just this piano, and then to bring it to where it is now, it's almost like how I feel like my life has gone. Like it started out just like me, just being obedient. And now where I am, it's just such a blessing. I feel so blessed. I feel like my life, like our marriage, like Simon and I, like being in Orlando. Obviously we have just everyday normal lives, like, but it's something that I just truly believe it's just better than anything I could have imagined for myself, like what God has done. And I feel like that is a reflection of what he did in the song. So like
yeah.
Simon actually mixed the project, which was definitely the most instruments that he's ever mixed in a project before. I think if you pull up the session, it's like 60 tracks. Like it's just like so many tracks. And we were like, "Okay, let's just try it. Let's just see." You know, we're just, like, trying to just save as much as we can and, like, not have to like, and he wanted to try it, and they all believed in him to try it.
I love
So,
Love
that.
that.
Yeah.
he does a ton of production work, but this was definitely, like, the biggest project ever and the first time with live strings.
Mm.
So, once we sent it back and, um, we also recorded my vocals at Blackbird Studio, which, oh my goodness, we were there, and, there's all these amazing artists who record there all the time. For us, we're just like going in and, just had a slot of time, had to record the song. And they're like, oh, yeah, there's an artist next door. His name is Leland. And I'm like, oh my gosh, please, I want to meet Leland so bad. So I'm like, Leland, if you ever watch this, we're huge fans. Like, we've been listening forever. Like, there's some older, like, pop stuff that he did. And then, like, even all his
Yeah.
worship stuff now.
I'm clipping this and I'm tagging him.
I know. I'm like, Leland, we love you. And you were next door to our studio at Blackbird in, I don't know when that was, October. And we couldn't say hi, but, it's okay. We understand. We're saying hi. But that alone was like, okay, this is a big deal. This is like a really big deal. And we took like a Spirit flight from Orlando, like a $40 flight to be there. And stayed with Aiden and her husband, and we just had the best time and recorded. So yeah, by the time Simon was done mixing everything and we heard it, it was just like we were both in tears.
Mm.
And when you're working on something for so long and it's like a direct reflection of everything that God has brought you through, I
Yeah.
just had this moment, like me and my AirPods, just like crying. And
Tears.
yeah, I think it was like, okay, it's done. We wrapped it up. Like, it's good.
Yeah.
And part of me wanted to be like, no, we still got to do this, this, and this. And God's like, hey, it's done.
Let
We're
it
done.
go.
It's
Yep.
done.
Yep.
Yeah.
God's like, hey, yeah, stop. This is it.
Yeah.
So I think when I showed everybody, like in my family, and it was like, okay, wow, yeah, you've been working on this for years and years. So it's the best version that it ever could be. Like there were so many times where we were supposed to record it live and it didn't work out, or put out another version, and every time it was just like hitting walls. This though, it took time. Like this process took a lot longer than I would have liked,
Mm.
but it was God's timing. And I am so thankful because I have no idea where it's going to go, who it's going to reach, but obviously it's definitely reached outside of the US. And so it's
Yeah.
like such a blessing. I'm just happy to be here, guys. I'm just happy to be on this journey. Like I now at
Yeah.
this point, I'm like, whatever God wants to do, I am just willing and I'm
Content.
available. Yes.
Mm.
And that is just my dream now. If you were to ask me, it's like I just want to serve God. I just want to, fulfill the calling that He's placed on my life. And Simon and I, my husband and I, we both feel the same. Like we just want to serve the Lord. That's it.
Mm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
That's
love
that's it.
that.
beautiful.
I was gonna ask actually. As you were just saying, like you wanna serve God, and we can see you're doing that through music. What point in life were you like, okay, I actually wanna use my voice for God? Because there's I think there's so many Christian artists, like you start singing in church. Yeah, I can sing in church, but I can make music for other people. And yeah, what made you want to stick to, okay, I'm making music to glorify God?
Yeah, that's a really good point that you brought up because I feel like people don't necessarily intend to go that route when they start
Mm.
out like singing for the Lord. I feel like for myself, this was all I knew growing up, like singing at church, singing with my family, harmonizing, like writing. Writing for me, though, like it wasn't always easy for me to write um like a quote unquote worship song, if you were to put that in like a genre. Like it was just easier for me
Yeah.
to write from like my life's perspective, while like more singer-songwriter, but it was always like rooted in my faith and my love for God. And so um like probably after that happened with the record deal and that just following after the Lord, I think I started to really pay attention to that. Like, okay,
Mm.
what is the line for me? What is my boundary with this? And what is my convictions with this? And so I I didn't listen to like any secular music for a really long time. I just totally cut it out of my life. I really consecrated this gift to the Lord. And so even at the time I was doing more like gospel stuff and just kind of like that was pretty much my influence at the time and writing from that perspective. But still now it's like I feel the Lord giving me songs from like maybe moments in prayer or like moments where I could tell this would be a song where I could lead worship with this song in church
Mm.
Mm.
versus like this like a heavenly type song where that's like you put it on in your car but it's glorifying God. So like for somebody they might have to choose like what box they're going to be in
Mm.
sometimes with their label or things like that. And so for myself I've had the opportunity being independent as an artist to just really explore any genre or anything that the Lord like gives to me in that season. But
Mm.
yeah, it just there was this moment I think maybe after that, maybe like 19, where I just decided, okay, God, I maybe like reconsecrated it back to God. Like just maybe after that season of like, okay, I thought this is what I wanted to do and I had great intentions. Like, of course, like when you go down that road with these companies and these record labels and things like that, they're Christian. So I didn't want to make it seem like they were wanting me to do something that was secular or outside of the will of God.
Mm.
But I will
Yeah.
say that my influences musically at the time were was secular music. And so I feel like once I just totally consecrated my gift to the Lord and I just completely cut out secular music in my life, like we were really praying and fasting like as a student body like in my Bible college. I
Mm.
just feel like that is when I started being convicted about my gift, saying no to things versus like saying yes at any opportunity because I thought it was God opening a door,
Yeah.
Mm.
having discernment with my gift, like and I say this from a place of like I have nothing to gain here. I'm saying this as someone that is like I want to be so careful with my life and with the decisions that I make. And
Mm.
Mm.
so trying to balance like okay, someone's asking me to do something like what is my response? Like what is God asking me to do?
Yeah.
So um yeah, I feel like maybe around 1920 I kind of had a better idea about like okay, Lord, like just allowing him to guide my every decision. And maybe I had thought that he was before, but
Yeah.
now I was like putting in the deep work and really just like getting serious more than I ever had before
Mm.
because I had given him everything. I had given up that opportunities or things like that. And I say given up, but um, I had just been more open to hearing what he wanted me to do versus like just thinking that every open door was a God opportunity.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think like even now I'm grateful for that foundation and I still like we're still very, very serious about it. Like we don't say yes to everything. We don't we're trying to just be very obedient to what God
Yeah.
is
Mm.
asking. And I think when you steer away from that, like it's a direct vertical connection. If you steer away from that, then I feel like that's when people find themselves in situations that, now have led them away from singing for the glory of God. And
Mm.
Yeah.
even my husband and I we started a duo, like a group. It's called Sun Gold.
Yeah,
where
we're
we
gonna ask
write.
about that actually. Yeah.
Oh, okay, because I was gonna say, like, we're writing love songs and things like that, but from a perspective of, like, purity and
Yeah.
love that is, from the Lord. Oh,
Mhm.
yeah, sorry, that was a long answer to your question.
No,
No,
it's a
no, that
good
was
answer.
good. That was good. I guess I'm looking at the time and I'm thinking about um what has it been like now working with Simon, not just as like your boyfriend or someone that you'd heard from, but now as your husband and you're now on this joint venture. What's that process like?
We just clicked so well in a way that we never had before. Not like we didn't click, but like with now we just show up in the room and it's like he's arranging it automatically and I'm getting ideas and we can come up with ideas really quickly because of like our chemistry, our relationship. And
Mm.
we've been doing this for such a long time. We just like bounce off ideas. And sometimes when you go into a writing session, you don't know people. There's like a comfortability that I think some people are bold, so that helps, but for me, like, it takes me a second to, like, get comfortable before I'm like, "Oh, I don't like that idea," or "What about this?" Or so so when you're married and you're writing and you're doing this and you've been working together like we have for so long, it's just like there's no hard feelings, there's no, like, it's
Yeah.
our you know what I'm saying? Like, we're just
Yeah.
trying to figure out what's best for the song. So, um, yeah, half the time, he's usually, like, produced something cool, like, really cool. I'm like, "Okay, do that again." I'm like, "Okay, what about this?" He's like, "Yeah, yeah." And then we do that all the time, and we have a song of 30 minutes that we need to put out. We're really bad. We're good at writing, bad at putting them out. So we need to do that. But yeah, that
We'll
process has
remind you.
been thank you. Everyone's commenting like, "You posted this video. Where is the link?" I'm like, "You're right."
Yes.
That's
Yeah.
Yes.
so I'm trying to be better, but then it's like, do I just not post any videos? But, so
No,
No.
no, post the
I need
videos
to
and
release it.
release the songs.
I know we need to. I think we're trying to be less perfectionist about it and like, just go for it. But it's a lot of fun. We're so grateful. Like when we got married, um, we sang a song that Simon had written for me, for like one of our dating anniversaries. And when he played it for me, I was like in tears. It's like the best song I've ever heard. And we
Yeah.
decided to sing that at our wedding. And like I love that our relationship, like our friendship, our marriage is just rooted in that love for music. And like that's the way that we are able to like express how we feel the most and uh like having that outlet, it's super important. So to be able to
Yeah.
do that together is like really cool. My dad, his speech at our wedding like had everybody in tears because he was saying that, like, there was a song of mine maybe it was written in the stars now that I think about it, but obviously this was way before we released it, but, like, he had heard a song of mine, and his whole thing is, like, my dad, if he hears a version of, like, me and the piano, he is not interested when we send him the fully produced track.
He
He's
just
like,
wants
"I
the
just
strip
liked your
back.
voice and the piano." I'm like, "Okay, I'll send you the voice memo." And so Simon's like 20 hours of work and dad's like, no. So yeah, I remember like Simon had added he programmed some strings. Maybe it was the song. I think it was written in the stars. And he was showing me at our house, like at my parents' house. And my dad walks by and he like stops and he's like, Simon, did you do that? And he's like, yeah, like I just added the strings. And he was like, it started crying. Like we're just standing there, like listening to this song that I had and how he came in and added the strings and things that he added and just how it made it something even better. And that's basically what my dad said, like for our lives. Like there was me and there was him and then I was good, he was good on our own. But when we came together, like it just created
Even
something so
better.
beautiful and like um it was just such a special speech. And so we're so grateful to have that in common, and that's how we met, and that's how we're still writing and still singing together today. We have no plans to stop. I'm sure we'll be doing this with our kids too, and making them feel cringe too, because I'm gonna be like, no, you're gonna play the drums. He wants a daughter that plays the drums. I don't know how that's gonna happen, but
That's a
he's like,
vibe.
he wants that so bad. So yeah, that's a little bit about us and our writing. So,
Family band part 2.
Yeah, we love that. We love that. So I think we need to have Simon on soon and hear from his side of things.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
We want to hear about I Will Rise.
Definitely. That would be
No, I can't.
amazing.
We can't force him to speak about one song. You need to let him pick his own song.
Yeah, fair.
Yeah.
We'll
I'm
still ask
trying to get
questions
him
about
to
it.
release. He has so many cool songs that are just him. So I would love for him to release, like with his name, like himself too,
Yeah.
because he has such cool songs that are just unreleased that I
We'll
love so
listen to it,
much. So.
Simon. We promise. We promise. If you release it, we'll listen to it. We
We'll
promise.
rinse it.
And then the last question that we ask to every guest
Yep.
is, who do you think we should interview next?
I think that you should interview our friend Eleni. She is from Canada. She just got nominated for a Juno Award for a song that we got to collaborate with her on for a project, I believe, actually. And she's just amazing. She is killing the game with her content and doing a beautiful rendition of some older worship songs. So she is constantly releasing music, and she is just such a beautiful person, like inside and out, beautiful artist, amazing singer. And so I think that she would be a great guest to invite on the podcast for sure.
I
Amazing.
love that. Thank you. Any particular song you would want us to ask about?
Well, the one that we collaborated with her on is called Stars Align. But her project that she just released is called The Light That Leads to You. So I think there's a lot of songs in there that she could talk about for sure.
Nice. We'll definitely reach out.
Yeah, we'll definitely reach out. Amazing. Well, thank you so much for taking time out to talk to us and just sharing about this song in particular and about your life. You've definitely been an inspiration for us to just keep going. But I'm sure you've also been an inspiration for other people who listen to your music. So thank you. Thank you for listening to God. Thank you for using the gift that He's given you. And we pray that He continues to use you and that you continue listening to Him as well. And yeah, we're looking forward to much more music from you,
And
from
all
you
the
and Simon.
unreleased songs.
Yeah, and from the family band coming soon.
And
all the projects we're ready to hear.
Yeah.
Thank you so
Yeah.
much. Thank you for having me on. It's been a pleasure talking with you guys. And this was my first podcast interview outside of the US as well with you guys. So I'm
Amazing.
so
It won't be
honored.
the last.
Yeah.
I'm
Well,
excited.
if we ever end up in Orlando, we'll let you know. And if you ever are coming to the UK, please do let us know. We are more than happy to host.
Definitely. I'd love that.
Amazing. Thank you to everyone for watching. We'll be back next week with another interview from another artist. We also have our channel sponsor, before we forget, shout them out, Stay Lit Apparel. They make these amazing clothes that we wear in every interview. And they're made by Natalie's sister. So please go and check them out as well. And yeah, we'll see you next week.